Today, China made a big mistake by challenging a U.S. Navy ship. This is breaking news from the South China Sea, where tensions are rising after China's recent military drills near the Taiwan Strait. On August 26, the Chinese J-11 fighter jet made multiple close passes on a U.S. Navy destroyer. In response to this dangerous behavior, the United States conducted a freedom of navigation operation in the South China Sea. The USS Chung Hoon was conducting routine operations when it was confronted by the People's Republic of China's naval vessels and aircraft. These actions by China were deemed unsafe and unprofessional. The United States remains committed to upholding freedom of navigation in international waters. The presence of the USS Chinook in the region serves as a reminder of the United States' steadfast support for its allies and partners in the face of any threats or challenges to regional stability. Welcome to our channel, your daily news update. In today's video, we will be discussing how China challenged the U.S. Navy ship and why this action by the Chinese government may have been a big mistake. Let's get started. In a significant show of force, the United States has deployed the USS Chinook, a guided missile destroyer, to the South China Sea amidst rising tensions following China's military drills near the Taiwan Strait. This move underscores the United States' commitment to freedom of navigation and peace and stability in the region. The deployment of the USS Chinook comes in response to China's recent military drills near Taiwan, which were seen as a show of force by the Chinese government. These exercises involved a large number of Chinese troops and equipment and were conducted in an area close to the median line of the Taiwan Strait. The presence of the USS Chinook in the South China Sea serves as a strong message to China and other potential adversaries that the United States will not be deterred from operating in international waters. The guided missile destroyer is equipped with advanced capabilities and can perform a variety of missions, including air defense, missile defense, and maritime security operations. This deployment also demonstrates the United States' solidarity with its allies and partners in the region, particularly the Philippines. Recently, the United States and the Philippines conducted joint military exercises that focused on humanitarian mine assistance and combat operations. These exercises highlighted the strong alliance between the two countries and their shared commitment to peace and stability in the South China Sea. China's actions in the region have raised concerns among its neighbors and the international community. The Chinese government's assertiveness in claiming sovereignty over vast areas of the South China Sea has led to increased tensions and the risk of conflict. The deployment of the USS Chinatown by the United States is seen as a way to counter China's aggressive actions and promote a rules-based order in the region. It also sends a message that the United States will continue to support freedom of navigation and overflight, which are essential for maintaining peace and stability in the South China Sea. This presence also aims to reassure allies and partners of the United States in the region who may feel threatened by China's growing military power and territorial claims. The United States has consistently called for peaceful resolution of disputes in the South China Sea and has urged China to refrain from actions that could escalate tensions. However, China's recent military drills near Taiwan suggest that the Chinese government may be willing to use force to achieve its objectives. The deployment of the USS Chinook is seen as a way to deter China from taking any provocative actions, and to demonstrate the United States' commitment to its allies and partners in the region. It remains to be seen how China will react to the presence of the USS Chinook in the South China Sea, but the deployment is sure to raise tensions further and could lead to increased military activity by both sides. As the situation continues to develop, it is important to monitor the actions of both the United States and China closely. The deployment of the USS Chinook is a significant development in the ongoing standoff between the two powers and could have far-reaching implications for the region. Only time will tell how China will respond to this latest challenge from the United States, and whether it will lead to further escalation or de-escalation of the situation. The world is watching closely as the two superpowers continue to flex their military might in the South. China's reaction to the USS Chinook's presence in the region remains uncertain. However, it is possible that China may view the deployment as a provocation and respond with aggressive actions of its own. China has previously reacted strongly to the presence of U.S. Navy ships in the South China Sea, often sending its own warships and fighter jets to monitor and deter these operations. One possible response from China could be to conduct more military drills and exercises in the region, which could further raise tensions and increase the risk of miscalculation or confrontation. China may also continue to assert its territorial claims through patrols and other means, which could lead to more close encounters between Chinese and American vessels. In addition, China could use its state-run media outlets to condemn the United States and warn of potential consequences if the USS Chinook remains in the region. Such rhetoric could contribute to a climate of fear and mistrust, and make it more difficult for the two sides to find common ground. Furthermore, China could take unilateral actions such as conducting live fire exercises or restricting access to certain areas of the South China Sea, which could be seen as a challenge to the United States and its allies. These actions would only serve to escalate tensions and undermine efforts to maintain peace and stability in the region. However, it is important to note that China also has an interest in avoiding a direct confrontation with the United States. A conflict between the two nuclear-armed powers would have serious consequences and could potentially trigger a wider war. Therefore, China may choose to respond in a more measured way that does not provoke further escalation. China's response to the USS Chinook's presence will be closely monitored to try to gauge its intentions and assess the level of risk in the region. The actions of both the United States and China will be crucial in determining whether tensions will continue to rise or if a de-escalation can be achieved. The situation in the South China Sea remains fluid and unpredictable, and there is always the potential for a sudden and significant increase in tensions. The presence of the USS Chinook has certainly raised the stakes, and it will be important for all parties to exercise restraint and avoid any actions that could lead to a dangerous confrontation. A key consideration in China's decision-making process will be its assessment of the domestic political situation. The Chinese government may feel pressure to take a strong stance against the United States to demonstrate its commitment to national rejuvenation and the pursuit of reunification with Taiwan. However, it will also need to weigh the potential costs and risks of such actions. The Chinese public may be supportive of a strong response to the United States, but it is unclear how they would react to any casualties or setbacks that result from a military confrontation. The Chinese government will need to carefully balance the demands of nationalism with the need to maintain stability and control within its borders. Furthermore, China's response will also be influenced by its assessment of the international political situation. China is deeply integrated into the global economy and relies heavily on trade and investment from countries around the world. A military confrontation with the United States in the South China Sea could have significant negative consequences for China's economy and its relations with other countries. The Chinese government will need to weigh the potential costs of economic sanctions or trade wars against the benefits of taking a hard line against the United States. Ultimately, China's response to the USS Chinook will be shaped by a complex web of factors, including domestic politics, international relations, and military considerations. While it is impossible to predict with certainty how China will react, it is clear that the presence of the USS Chinook has raised the stakes and increased tensions in an already volatile region. What do you think? How do you think China will respond to the USS Chinook's presence in the South China Sea? What impact will this have on regional stability? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on any of our future videos. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.